recording. Recording started. There's a conference call. Okay, what does this say? Got it. Thank you, sir. Oh. Yes, I know. First things first. Hold on. I think we all know what that means. Hold on. I've got a lost sheep I've got to bring in. Just a second, please. Not there. Where is that? There it is right there. Okay, now I think we're just about ready. My apologies. Some people aren't ready. I am. Warning, this moderator drinks. Welcome to the WINGIT call. Today is February 29th, and I damn sure didn't think we were going to be here. But you know what tomorrow is? 90 days before the WTO says you got to have a tradable currency. When they vote on it, June 1st. Okay, just ignore those. We've got a couple of good callers today. Oh, disclaimer. We're not professionals. Seek professional guidance. I'm not a professional, and everything on this call is everybody's opinion. This is not legal advice. Seek your own counsel. The lost sheep has arrived. Also, I need to do a shout out to the IQD calls for listing the WINGIT call. And I got such a good chuckle that everybody wants to go over there and look at the WINGIT call. It's got a disclaimer, says moderator drinks only during the calls. Only during the calls. How much can a person drink in 2.5 hours? I mean, I got to have at least one. So where else? Thank you. And they're the ones that helped me through the transitional process until I got the word out. I want to thank everybody for calling in and listening on the web. You're the ones that make the call. And I want to thank everybody. I think, if I'm not sure, but the person, if you send in donations, you're going to get a thank you here in the next day or two for donating. I do not need any more donations. Everything is covered. The web is paid for a whole year. So the only thing we're going to need donations for, and I'm not asking for any right now. Hopefully, after the next day or two, it won't matter. But the conference call is paid for at least a month. We're good there, so no donations required. Very first person on the top of the list is going to be RVGCR. He's out of Puerto Rico. I'm going to unmute him. He's going to give what he can, and then we're going to go on from there. So RVGCR, sir, you're up, Mr. Phillip.
And can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. You're a little crackly, but I think it'll clear up.
Let me speaker, and that should make it a little better. I'm going to go over here into this file, and I'll be right back with the information that we're looking for. So, one moment, please, and I'll grab it.
Yes, sir.
As we're moving into Operation Northern Thunder, most of you know that there has always been a Treaty of 200. This treaty has been a part and portion to what most people call the stalls all along, as other countries were slowly added to the Treaty of 200. Remember back a few months ago, Cuba was opened up to the playing field of the world. Iran was opened up to the playing field of the world. And there were some strange happenings going on between the central bank and Greece and the goings-on as they tried to open themselves up to the world. And right now, as you know, that we are still going through some stuff with the European Union, Deutsche Bank, Switzerland, the Brexit exit of Britain from the EU,
RV,
exit of
RV, you're kind of breaking up a little bit there. I apologize.
I apologize. Let me try less movement.
There you go. That sounds a little better.
The ship is laboring in the wind. And the moderator drink.
Yes, sir. I got my arm held up. Go ahead.
Well, hold the boat still. So, having said that, as of last night, this thing was set to go. They were going to try it one more time. They've tried 4 times in the last 8 days to get the worldwide ping and the OK for exchange. As of last night, there was a hosted problem that they are working on right now, and the last I heard was an hour ago that problem has been sorted out, and they're going to try to do this thing again later on this evening. As a machination of how governments work, they only move things on the 1st and the 15th. The rest of the month is for entering and deleting detail. So as Operation Northern Thunder gets started, that is the protections that go behind the Treaty of 209. It was 208 when Iran sanctions were lifted, and then it was 209 when Cuba was opened up. So they, at the last minute, had allowed for the treaty to go from 200 to 209. All of these is a basic bipartisan agreement across the board for a peace treaty of the world, which we all know, those of us who read that book, the Bible, that know that this will be a peace treaty that is broken somewhere along the way. But for right now, let us try to get to the benefit. The benefit is the currency exchange. At the same time, the disinformation specialist, I'll be very careful here, Drake Bailey, Thomas from Cosmic Voice, Jim Willie, Dr. William Mount, all of you who say that the exchange is now bogus and a fiction of our imaginations, well, as the world turns, get ready, those of you who hold currencies. I believe that you're still in a very good place. as far as liquidity is concerned, the sovereign movement is due to become liquid in less than 24 hours. If there is any truth to that, knowing that you guys are all last, then if I see any kind of movement in this global currency exchange, I know I'm in the correct line. Jerry, you want to go ahead? Jerry?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay, I had myself muted and I was talking to myself. A little clarification here, because you were kind of garbled on some of it, but you're much better now. Is there was a hold up for a day, but that's been tended to, and we're back on track, and there's a possibility we actually could see it maybe later on this evening, but tomorrow looks really promising because that's 90 days before June 1st, and we all know the WTO has their rules. Got to have a tradable currency 90 days before June 1st. Is that pretty good, Philip?
I applaud you for not drinking on the first 15 minutes of the show.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, things look like we're in a good place right now. I was told about an hour ago that this very well could be our last moment of waiting tonight.
I'm trying to think of some questions to ask. You know what? Let me bring in Rockstar, because he's usually got good questions. Rockstar, you're open. Come on down.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately, I don't have a lot of questions. I think, I keep hearing confirmation from every intel source and now from Philip that of what we've been talking about the past couple of days, that we are right there, that there's a slim chance something might go awry, but really, it's never been near this positive from all points of the compass. And my feeling is it might still be a little messy as far as who gets to go first and who gets to go second, and what the rates are going to be when we walk in the door. But I believe we've had so much practice and so much variance on what we've been told that we're ready for whatever hits us when we're sitting across the table from the bankers. I'll probably have some questions for Phil as I think of it, but I was just digesting what he was saying.
Okay, well, hold that thought. Hold that thought,
yep.
And I've got another person to bring in here. Okay, I'll be right back. Pastor, you're up.
Hey, how's everybody today? Say hello to all you listeners, and thank you for tuning Jerry in. He's a great man. He's got a great call, and what you just heard from Mr. Tilton was very, very deep and very good information. Going along with everything that we're hearing, it's we're hearing over and over as ICO that it's confirmed that everything you've been hearing the last couple of days. Now, first and foremost, you need to understand that Mr. Tilton was the one who brought us yesterday before the notifications. He said, I think there's a day delay, and I didn't hear that from anybody else. So there's a feather in your hat, Mr. Tilton. You brought that in early, and of course it didn't happen last night. And we're believing the intel from last night's carried over a day later till today, and hearing that it's all confirmed as everybody else pretty much. You've heard this, and of course we've heard it over and over again. there's a lot of other things brewing in Iraq, and the people have said that groups are ready to go, and different things are happening, Jerry, that we're waiting on, seeing if it's this thing's really going to happen tonight. All this is rumor tell, and it's information that's liquid, changeable, and you're a valued person that's listening to it, and you care about it. So we're praying that all these things are going to happen tonight, that we're going to get the notifications this afternoon, evening, and that tonight could be our night. We're hoping everybody is standing at attention with it on their tiptoes, because we all need this. And I want to just tell you that I believe you're honored and prized for being here right now and listening to this. It means that you're lined up for the greatest wealth transfer that's ever occurred on this earth. And you hold on to what you have, and you stick it out, and you be strong. If anything changes, you just be there when it's time to exchange your currency. That's all I got right now there, Jerry.
What about what I texted you about?
Oh, jog my memory.
I said, could you please text for me?
Yes, I did. And of course, the special caller should be coming on any time. He might have gotten another, somebody called him for an information call, and he had to sit on that for a minute, but he's promised to be right in as soon as he can. That was done. I did that, and he said he would be here. So, there's all kinds of other stuff we could talk about. To talk about that, we do have people that we know who've got appointments for tomorrow. So those things are happening on the sidelines.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
And then something else I wanted to bring forward, and I'm going to grab it now. And it has a lot to do with what's going to start up in 2 days. The prosperity packages are set now for the PPP programs, according to our informant in Hong Kong, that they began trading bullets on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of last week. Consequently, we should have those cards with their payments this Friday, meaning 2 days ago. I haven't been able to follow up with that, but we have confirmed yesterday that the tabletop meetings are set to start with the PPPs on March 2nd.
And do you think that by that time they'll be talking about how to address newfound wealth at that point?
They're going to need to, because there will be newfound wealth. Another thing I want to point out to the listening audience is all along, the IMF, who lies on a daily basis, did tell everyone in October this past year that according to the calendar that Iraq keeps, that they would allow Iraq back into a marketplace in April, they were saying April as a pointed date, but we all know that they could do things a little earlier than that, and we know that they lied to us. And just like when Kuwait RV'd, they were lying up until the very last minute that it was, look, a shiny thing in the room down the road, and it was really upon us.
Thank you, sir, for that little tidbit. I don't see special caller just yet, so what we're going to do here is we're going to field a few calls, okay? And if you can hang around for a minute, Philip, be great. Answer what you want, and if it's something that is kind of risky, just say not at this time. So we're going to go with and another announcement. Thank yous did go out almost the same day or within an hour of people making donations that made donations, I just want to say it publicly. Thank you very much. So here's our first caller, Northridge, California, web call. Come on down. B is what it says. Just the letter B. Northridge, California, the letter B. Come on down. Once more, Northridge, California. You raised your hand. You're a web call, and it says, there you go. Come on down.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Okay, good. My question is, I've talked with a couple of attorneys to try to get things set up, and I'm being told that they don't handle the type of money I'm talking. How would I go about finding an attorney that is basically going to be able to work with me 100 mil plus? How do I go about finding somebody like that?
You mean a tax attorney?
Yes.
Okay. So this is very simple, and I hate to pastors on here, and it really curbs what I want to say, but I'll put it like this: money talks, bullshit walks. When you've got money, they're going to talk to you, and until you've got money, they don't want to talk to you. That's wasting their time. That's the redneck version. Now the political version is just as soon as you've got many zeros to the left of the decimal point, it's going to be, yes, sir, how can we help you? And also when you go to the bank, they're going to want to direct you to some people, but once you've got many zeros to the left, the doors will fly open like you've never seen. I hope that helps out.
It does. Thank you. I appreciate it, and I really appreciate your call. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Phoenix, Arizona, 480. Yes, sir.
Hi, Jerry. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Come on down.
So I had a comment and a question at the same time. So my first thing is a comment. I've heard a lot of your callers get on and they ask the question, is it okay if I go and exchange in another state? How's my taxes going to be, and so forth? I do a great deal of traveling all over the country. We'll call it a consultant. And I travel all over the place, and I'll state it this way. Let's say this does turn out to be a taxable event. In the event that it does, I'm not saying it will, I'm not saying it won't, just saying in the event that it does turn out to be a taxable event, every state that I go to and that I earn income in, I have to pay a tax in that state. So California being the one of the worst, I live in Phoenix. I travel to California frequently. I earn some, if I work there 2 weeks, if I work there 2 months, it doesn't matter. If I work there 1 day, I still have to pay taxes in that state for any income that I earned during that time I was there working in that state, even if my income is derived during the time that I was not working in that state, but the people I was consulting for were based in that state. So if I work in Idaho, here's the kicker of it all. Let's say you're based in, or you live in Phoenix, or you live in Idaho, or you live in Texas, or it doesn't really matter. Now, Texas obviously doesn't have a state income tax, which is great for you. Problem is that let's say you choose to go across the border and you want to exchange in Oklahoma. The problem is that generally what's going to happen is wherever you derive your income from, you're going to have to pay taxes in that area. So wherever the higher state income tax is, that's where your taxes are generally going to be paid. And so, for instance, when I'm paying taxes here in Arizona, in Phoenix, Arizona, because I live here, when I go to Texas, Texas doesn't have any income tax. So the income that I earn while I'm in Texas isn't taxable by Texas. However, Arizona doesn't forget to get theirs. So all of my taxes is accumulated by Arizona. When I go to California and I earn income in California, all of my taxes go to California, and I don't owe anything to Phoenix because Phoenix, there's nothing above and beyond. Does that make any sense? I hope I'm being clear with what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, now, I'd like to just put in 2 seconds on that. this is a paradigm change, and according to the paradigm change, there's even going to be some things that come out of this that will erode even some state lines. I'm not exactly sure how far I can go into depth on that, but Indian reservations are expected to go to very land taken back from the BLM. And so there's a lot of things that are not on the table that is being told to the public, and because of that, it creates more questions. I hope that helps a little bit.
He was kind of garbled there, but did you catch most of that?
I did indeed. And my point is that until we know for sure how we're all going to get nailed with this, I wouldn't run across the border of any state, and especially if you're one of the lucky ones that lives in Washington or Alaska or Florida or Texas and you don't have state income tax. I certainly wouldn't run across the border and exchange my income or my currency anywhere else. Or if you're one of the lucky ones that's in a low tax bracket state, don't jump over to California or someplace like that and exchange your currency, because you're probably going to get nailed at a higher rate as well. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know how it's going to all play out. If I know our federal government, which, believe me, I pay enough taxes every single year that I think I do a little bit, they find a way to nail you, and every state seems to follow suit. They all seem to find a way to get theirs. So, and I have a lot less heartburn with states collecting taxes than I do our federal government. So at least I feel like the states are doing something with it.
Yes, sir. Iko, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I have a recommendation. The business I used to be in had crazy tax implications all the time. And one thing I found is that a good attorney, not you, not personally, and not your average accountant, but an attorney, if the IRS or the state tax people get a letter from an attorney saying there are circumstances still to be determined in this individual case, we're filing an extension, et cetera, he'll know how to word it. You're going to be able to stall paying any taxes for a good part of this year until the final ruling comes down from the Fed. And again, you got to check with your attorney, but I think that letter will help you avoid any penalties, any interest, et cetera, on what you end up paying. There is a lot of discussion out there that not only is this not a federal taxable event, but it's not a taxable event, period. And of course, states will figure out a way, or try to figure out a way, but you might, and obviously you've got to talk to an attorney about this, but you might be able to get away with holding off paying anything until we get this federal ruling.
And I think you're right. And I look at this both ways. I have two different accountants that I work with, and they're both at odds with one another. One says, this is absolutely a taxable event, and the other one says, no, it's not. There's no way this is a taxable event because your money did not leave the country. So, and they said that's the little loophole right there, is that where the money did not leave the country.
That's what I'm hearing. Yes.
So, so I hear both ways, and I've heard it both ways argued on recaps. So, I'm certainly not going to say the word exchange. That's been stricken from my vocabulary. I mean, rather, cash in. I'm going to use the word exchange. Right. So, so on to my question, though. I think we beat this horse to death. I think everybody's got the idea. My question is, I have a passion for our veterans, especially all the wounded veterans that our government is absolutely not taking care of. We seem to have plenty of money for importing new problems, but we don't have the money to take care of our veterans. So I have a passion for our veterans, and being a veteran myself, my feeling is that we're certainly not taking care of them very well. And I want to start a business that, and I don't know necessarily that I even need to wait until this event takes place, but certainly it'll contribute a lot. But I'd like to start a business that perhaps is just a regular business that sells regular products, whether it be furniture or what have you, but donates the proceeds of that business to our veterans. Is that legal? I mean, can I do that? I've consulted with an attorney, and honestly, they don't seem to know. Can I start a 501c and even do that? Do any of you guys have any ideas on that? And is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? What's your take on it?
It's a good idea.
Way above my pay grade.
Yeah.
Oh, Jerry, that was a total cop-out. Come on now. I want an opinion. I'm not looking for legal advice here.
No, I don't even have an opinion because I have so many other things I'm thinking about.
You could listen. I am setting up a foundation to help veterans in crisis, suicidal vets. I've done a lot of research on this. The problem you run into is, here you go with states again, okay? Each state has its own outlook on how this works. And even from state to state, the veterans, the VA, seems to operate differently depending on who's pulling the string. So it's a complicated matter, but if you start in your own, literally start with your own hometown or county, you're going to need an attorney to help you set it up. And there's going to be new rules out there. This is where we talk about, nobody knows what the game is yet, so the rule book isn't out there yet. This is one of those circumstances. The bottom line is, if you want to give your money, if you want to donate to help vets, you can do it, and there's a way to do it. But it's not as easy as just writing a check. You're going to have to involve an attorney, so there's going to be a little bit of administration money that needs to be spent. You're not going to be able to get away from that. And it does depend. What can I ask? What state you're in?
I'm in Arizona, Phoenix.
I know nothing about Arizona.
There's the problem right there. There's the problem right there. You're not in Texas, so
that's true.
I'm a Texan at heart,
one thing I'll say, I joke about Texas a lot, but one of the things that they got it real simple when it comes to helping vets. Vets deserve our help. You won't find that in Pennsylvania where I am. I've had a hell of a time putting together my model program in Pennsylvania. It's been heartbreaking, really. But just go to a guy who specializes in nonprofits, and tell him what you want to do, and they'll get you set up. But you can work in a number of ways. You can donate the profits from a standard business, not a 501c3, just a standard business. You can donate all your profits, and as far as the feds are concerned, that's tax exempt. You can pay yourself and then donate that money from your estate. In some states, that helps you out. In other states, it hurts you. Look, it's complicated, but it can be done, and it's a great idea. Just start asking questions, and you'll find the right answers.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir, because I don't want to cut you short, but this next person only has so much time he can devote, so I'm going to mute. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for all you're doing.
Special caller, go ahead. Hello, special caller. Yes, sir. I see you flickering. Special caller, come on in.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Waiting for the 411 because I know you have the best along with RVGCR. Both between the two of you, you're going to get us all lined out.
Well, we're definitely at the end of it, that's for sure. Everybody just needs to hang on. Hang on. Keep your seatbelt on because we're at the end. We're pulling up to the train station now. Oh.
What can you share with us?
Let's see.
Well, let me see if I can ask a question here.
Yeah, you do that.
Do you think that we are within 24 hours of touchdown?
Everything that I'm getting, yes.
Do you think that the issue has been tended to with the PTBs and the interruptions?
Yes. Everything that I'm getting, in my opinion, yes.
Do you think this time that their attention was totally grabbed a hold of to where there won't be any more misinterpretations about the game plan?
Well, actually, yes, but actually this last time was not them. It was because a couple countries were not finished with what they were doing. It wasn't them this last go around.
Well, and I know people are going to ask this question. We've been at this for so friggin' long. Why the hell can't they get their crap together? Because we're right here. Are they trying to, get a little more out of it by holding it back, or I'm just shooting in the dark here?
No, there was a couple countries that still had to depeg from the dollar and had to get away from the euro. And everything that I'm getting is that was done effective yesterday.
Oh, I've read some stuff on the web here, and one of them was, and I don't know if you can even, because it's out there, is Saudi Arabia going to be depegging from the dollar?
They already did, and they've already joined the BRICS from everything that I've been told.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
As well as Japan. Did I lose you?
No, sir. Just answering.
Okay.
My phone doesn't blow up as quite as much as yours, but during the call, it seems to be a little more active. I don't know why. Did you say Japan has also joined? Has joined the AIIB?
That's what I've heard. They either have or they're about to. I'm still waiting on, concrete evidence on that.
Well, here's another good one. Way back when with that with that little dust up with Greece, do you think they're about ready to come out with their own currency? And I know that if they do, it's going to be asset backed with Russia's help.
Bingo. That's what we were waiting on. The drachma. There was a couple things. Yes, that's yes. Yeah. There you go.
What about? I don't know if I can say this. We'll go a roundabout way. Hitler and his illusions. What do you think about that ordeal?
I can't comment on that. I'm staying away from that.
Okay. Is that a nice way to do that?
Yeah. I'm staying away from that. I'll talk to you privately on that one.
Okay. Hey, see, I understand. What else? Pastor, you can unmute if you want to help me out here. Hold on. I'll help you out here. You're unmuted. Do you want to ask a question?
Do you know any other countries that were not prepared other than just the Greece?
That's all I know. It's just Greece. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, it was Greece, and it was the
Germany and the Solomon Islands. according to Mr. Tilton. Yeah, we heard that from Mr. Tilton there.
Yep.
All right. So the AIIB, what are they saying?
They're absolutely saying that that was the last situation that had to be taken care of, and a certain individual signed a document at 5 o'clock yesterday once that was all completed.
Ooh, really?
Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That was done at 5 p.m. yesterday, but not in time to get it done last night.
Correct. Because we had the exact specific timings that the emails were supposed to come out. I mean, we had it down to 6 hours, didn't we, Stephen? Down to 6 hours?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And they didn't come out because there was a couple things that still was left to finish, and we touched on that.
Somebody had a question.
So where do you see the TR in the United States note, the new money with the word gold on it that says United States Treasury and not Federal Reserve note? Where do you see that coming out? Is that tomorrow, or are we going to operate off of a Federal Reserve note that's still asset-backed and have to do gold contracts for import and export until we see the new monopoly money come out?
This is what I can tell you. There was a transaction that Stephen and I, are you still muted or are you unmuted?
I'm unmuted.
Okay. So Stephen and I were privy to a conversation yesterday that was a huge transaction where the TRN was involved in it, and that pretty much gave proof that the TRN is live right now. Can you second that, Stephen?
Yeah, well, that's what we heard. Absolutely.
Yep.
When do you think that they're going to roll out the new monopoly money? Because this is just my opinion that I think it's going to take a little bit to get the FRN off the market. So you've got to have the new monopoly money in play along with the old during the transitional phase. Does that sound feasible?
Okay,
plausible?
let me just. Of course, this is all in my opinion versus the intel that Stephen and I are getting. But let me just tell you what I'm being told. It's not about whether you have an FRN or a TRN. It's about what is in the system. So once you go exchange, you're going to be either asset-backed or not. So even if you go exchange right now and it's in the system as asset-backed, you're still going to walk out of there with an FRN. Here's why. Because they're not going to just start giving out TRNs until all the FRNs are out of the system and off the street. They're going to go through and they're going to do all those, and then you'll go to TRN. So they'll gradually work the TRNs into the system is what they'll do. But it's based on what is in the system. You're either asset-backed or you're not. And it's in the system. It's digital.
Well,
Stephen, can you touch on that?
Hold on.
You know more about that than I do, Robert, and so
okay.
I'm just going to have to go along with that's what we've been being told, and we've been being told that for a while. Philip, you had something that you shared with me earlier about the fact that nobody wanted the Federal Reserve notes internationally. Can you speak on that for a moment? Philip Tilton, are you still there? Or did you get off?
Yeah, he's still there. Go ahead, sir.
Tell the audience about the. Go ahead.
There's 208 countries that are not receiving the FRNs now. There is New York City and New Jersey longshoremen have walked off their jobs and have been without work now for 7 days. We have the United States railroad engines being lined up on the lanes, and the ships that go by have trickled down to 2%. There's will accept a fiat note. The only way that corporations are moving products right now are with gold contract. So, going back to what's going on with the monopoly money, that's what the wealth management side does. The wealth managers are not just to sell you bank products. They are also supposed to go through the bank on that basis, take out all the and torn notes, and make the accounting for the treasury how much gets destroyed. At the same time, when the new currency comes out under the new republic, the monopoly money will be shifted over. There will be two sides to the bank. There will be the asset side, and there will be the wealth management side. All of you from the wealth management side, you will probably go to a separate office to do banking and not just a normal everyday bank. Until this gets done, we've always been told that that's the way it would be as they transition, and it would take 3 to 6 months to take, or even longer, to take the federal note off the market.
Got you.
Got it. This is Iko. What Philip just said is also what I'm understanding and what I'm being told. All of it's going to trickle down. We're going to start with international transactions, then go toward big ticket transactions, private, between corporations, then come down to large consumer items, then come down to smaller consumer items, come down to seasonal food, and commodity transactions. It's going to, we are going to be asset backed, but we're not going to appear to be asset backed for a while. It's going to be brought in levels that are manageable, and that are in coordination with the other 208 countries. All of that is working toward the parity, the world parity currency. I've been told that you and I take it back. Some of us on this call might see TRNs because of the amount of our wealth, but the average Joe is never going to see a TRN for
exactly
probably a year.
Never gonna...
Yeah.
I totally agree on what you said.
Right. The rainbow currency is going to filter in slowly but surely. But just think about it. Every single ATM in the country is going to have to be replaced. It's a huge undertaking to get the new currency out there on the street. So, we are technically we're not going to be both asset-backed and fiat, but from a visual standpoint, from a practical standpoint, it's going to look that way for a while. I don't know
because they're going to keep honoring the FRN notes. They have to. It has to.
Yeah, they have to. Right. You can't everybody come in and change their currency today. That can't happen. So, anyway, that's my understanding of it.
I concur with everything that you said, Iko.
Okay. Well, it's nice to be right every once in a while. Keeps you both.
If you're Iko, it's all the time. Come on.
Yeah, right. That's true. Self-delusion is a wonderful thing. It really is. If you totally believe it, you can't go wrong.
If you want to come back to reality, just go ask your wife. Then we all know when we ask our wives. Yeah. Tell us what we really are. Great stuff, Iko. Great stuff, Philip, Robert, and Jerry. It's back to you, Jerry.
Thank you, sir. I'm gonna. Really? So who's the anonymous caller that came in with the host code? Announce yourself or I'm going to boot you.
No, it's me. I got booted out of the other call.
Oh, okay.
My connection.
And you sound much better on this one, Philip.
Oh, this sword sometimes doesn't work very well.
Okay, well, all right, not a problem. I was just looking there going, what the heck?
Well, okay, so now let's move to somewhere else. And I think it was April. No, it was February. February of this year, the treaty of 17% did come through. Our Senate and Congress, our House and Senate both approved the new 17% tax. And at the same time, they were trying to bring back the Glass-Steagall Act and put a date on when the Frank Dodd Act would end. So y'all keep your eyes out on those kinds of things, okay, because they're going to affect every new millionaire.
Yes, sir, thank you. I'm going to get another caller in here, so hang around. Florida, come on down, 954.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
How are you? I was very disappointed when I woke up and then I thought I was going to find myself in the bank. Truthfully and honestly, your hearts are hearts. Does it look like this thing is very, very close?
Yes.
To us? Okay.
I know that
and
we've heard.
Go on. No, you go on.
You know, we've all heard, we hate these words, imminent soon, but everything that I'm hearing also, and it all changes, but March 1st is tomorrow is a big deal. I understand that they wrote the rules, they can change the rules, but it's still 90 days is 90 days before they vote, and you have to have a tradable currency 90 days before June 1st.
Hey, Jerry.
Yes, sir.
They actually have till March the 3rd on that.
Oh, they do? Oh, because of
March
extra
the 3rd.
days. Okay.
Yes, they have till March the 3rd is the deadline on when Iraq has to have an international tradable currency due to the WTO.
Because of the extra days in, was it March and May, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
I'm getting a little smarter.
And someone was saying that will the Zim be in the basket?
Yes.
Okay. All right, because I know I read earlier somebody said that the Zim was, Dr. Clark said the Zim wasn't going to be in the basket.
No, it's in there.
Okay. All right, thank you. Well, I'm just hoping and praying that everything goes well. And thank you so much.
You.
Aren't we
You're
all?
welcome. Bye-bye. Well, looky there. It is my favorite city of criminals. Washington, D.C., 202. Come on down. I mean, politicians. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do better, Pastor. I really am. Washington, D.C., 202. Come on down.
Is that me?
Yes, sir.
I always wanted to say that, Jerry. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
This is one I won't. Doing well, thank you. I have well, first of all, I'd like to say hello to Iko, Philip. I think Rockstar's there with you as well. Question. Has everyone in Iraq, specifically in Baghdad, been paid? And if so, what rate are they being paid? I guess that would probably be more directed to Philip.
If you can talk about it.
If he can talk about it, okay.
Philip, are you there?
I'm right here.
Can you answer that question, or do we just need to go on with bypass that one?
I can't answer that one.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
How about this one? Wait a minute. Can I ask one more, Jerry?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Philip mentioned that the PPs are hopefully going to be funded possibly as early as tomorrow. What's backing the PPs?
My charm and good looks.
Oh, well, that's without saying, Jerry.
Well, I don't know. Somebody else will have to answer that one.
Okay.
The world accounts are supposedly supposed to be backing the PPP. As far as remembering where they came from, is the Bank of couple months ago, and the Bank of International Settlements is what refused. That's what Bank of International Settlement bankrupt was the stealing from that account, and that's where the Chinese came in and said that they were going to open up the world collateral accounts to pay off the loans of Versailles, and that's where the backing of the PPPs is supposedly supposed to come from.
Okay. I was just thinking out loud, maybe the historical bond redemptions would also filter in order to pay the PPs as well.
That's why the whole time the world's saying that this is not going to cost us any money to do this. The money is already there. King Solomon's gold mine is for everything.
This goes all the way back
Thank
to
you.
Solomon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Philip.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Thanks, Jerry.
Von Dornick. You're welcome.
The world collateral accounts.
Van Nuys, California, 818. Come on down.
Is that me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Actually, it's Sherman Oaks, but close enough. I had about three questions. So the first question is, I actually wrote these down. Has the Admiral signed the currency treaty?
I don't know.
Anybody know on that?
According to Coit, no. And according to the rest of the world, everyone's saying that everything is done. So if everything is done, except for Coit saying no, we need to get Coit to say yes.
Okay. And are the PPPs the private placement programs or the prosperity programs?
That's the world's biggest secret. I think it's both. I think both of them have the same name.
Okay. And who is going to be, are all the sovereigns also done? Because there was a lot of talk that the sovereigns have to go first, and then the groups, and as far as if the sovereigns are done, is that a yes on that?
No. Right now, the private placements are still going through. Okay? For how long has that been going on? Well, it seems like for about, 48 months, it seems, now that the private placements have been going through. That also is a big, scary question because we are not the author of the plan. We are the benefactors who are called last in line. And having said that, the hope is that we see things move this week for the last in line. But in the meantime, the sovereigns, yes, it was always said that the Indians would go first, but my goodness, didn't we just see the Indians did get paid last month? I don't remember how much it was, but I think it was like $700 billion. That's a lot of money, kids. And then there was one other payment in January to the Indians, whom they said, and there was a problem with that because they said they never received it. So at what point do we know the truth from the disinformation? It's kind of hard when you've got people who can lie to you to your face with a smile, okay, and all you care about is correcting what small portion of the 1% of the circle around you. And that's all that matters in your world. So, and then the next things we were supposed to have seen was the Wounded Warriors exchange and get their benefactor. And then we were supposed to see the PPPs move. And I think the author of the plan switched that one and just kind of rotated it to currency exchange, then PPPs. But as of right now, if we don't see currency exchange in the morning and they start doing tabletop TTMs tomorrow, then we will understand that the author of the plan never changed the plan. So, and we haven't seen the Wounded Warriors get funded yet. And as far as sovereigns go, I know the sovereigns haven't gone because, I know somebody very dear and near to me who is in that group. So, with having said that, no, the sovereigns have not gone yet.
Now, I know you're talking about the Native American Indian sovereigns, but what about the countries in terms of those sovereigns? Are they all handled in terms of their payments throughout this currency situation?
Last year, there was about 46 countries that were going to go upside down, belly up. And those 46 countries were allowed to, through the Paris Treaty, or the Paris Plan, the Paris meeting, those 46 countries were allowed to exchange just IQD at a rate of about $7 to $9. Remember that 46 countries were allowed to save them. So yes, I believe that the countries are done.
Okay, and now when you said tabletop, are you talking about like ZAP and Landa and the bonds? Is that what that is?
My, you're a smart girl.
I'm just trying to clarify all this, not just for myself, but I know a lot of other people are listening. I've been in this for almost 5 years, so I know that there are a lot of people that are like, what are you talking about? So I want to be clear. ZAP is supposed to get, or Landa is supposed to get their money on Tuesday in the bank, and it's cleared and so forth. So we're still waiting to hear if that's actually going to happen, because obviously for weeks he's been telling us it's released and it hasn't been received. So I am feeling that we may still have to wait a few steps before we as individuals are going in either as a General 64 or an Admirals Group or a Wells Fargo Group or Dinar Land before it may be a few more days. And this March 3rd date is another indication that it might be pushed back to later in the week. And then Dr. Clark came back online again and talked about March 22nd as the absolute back wall. And, of course, I know he's only really talking about Iraq and the dinar. He doesn't even believe in the GCR. But anyone understand about why he's even bringing up the March 22nd date? Do you guys have any idea about that?
The March 22nd date is supposed to be the 1,200th day and 90th day of Daniel. But Dr. Clark, I've never heard of him. I've never listened to his stuff, so I can't help you there. But as far as the other couple of things that you just said, that is very much on task, and you are a very smart young lady.
Well, I'm just feeling it could be next week. That's what I'm just sensing with, I think we're going to hear from Zach on Tuesday, Wednesday, and he's hopefully going to say, yes, you got the money, and then, all these other bond situations might be happening. I just want to be helping people not get their hopes up like the woman that just called in saying that she was sad this morning, because just because we're hearing it's done on a great scale of wonderful things happening, we as individuals may not be seeing our exchanges and our emails right, tomorrow. But it is seeming like we're in the window of maybe, a week to 14 days. And I'm just throwing that out. I don't even know why I'm throwing that out. It just feels like some other players might have to play before we get to our turn at bat. Let's just say that.
The nicest thing to understand about what you guys are doing on these calls is you are sitting in the boardroom of a very large corporation that probably handles another very large corporation's products. And the other large corporation is allowing for you to do a sale next week at 40% off on their Craftsman tools or whatever. And you're sitting in your corporation of Sears Tower, and you're making the decision that, yes, you can do this, but not really. It can't be done next week because you need to do the advertising, you need to do the photo shoot, you need to break it down to the mailroom, to all offices throughout the world. So, yeah, there's a bigger picture here from sitting like you guys are, listening to what's really going on from a boardroom perspective, knowing that even if they say in 7 days, you know it's not going to be 7 days because they haven't done the pictures yet of the tools that you're going to give 40% off the following week. So, yes, this is such a fluid situation. We would all love to know the exact date and rate. But what we do know, and this is the closest I will bring to the table of what is out there, and it's right here. Okay. As it was physically an impossibility to make all downloads of funds in the 3 days initially enabled so all transactions recorded could enter. That ended today. That was yesterday. Also definitely confirmed that the tabletop meeting dates begin on March 2nd. We have never had information as accurate on dates and planning as we have had today. That's what we got yesterday, kids.
And wasn't there a March 2nd date for China and the historical bonds? I think I just read that today, that they have announced that they would be redeeming all historical bonds and the SDRs for China on the 2nd. So the 2nd sounds like a big day on many levels.
And also, don't forget, Shanghai was just announced as the headquarters of the BRICS. But here's something that you guys really want to watch now. Could it be that the gold value, Goldfinger, the guy that flies back and forth out of London, passes the key to Shanghai now? And Shanghai all of a sudden say, wait a second, gold is $3,000 an ounce. If he does that tonight, okay, then very well tomorrow gold could be $3,000 when you wake up, and that makes the GCR half price. Because an IQD was $3.47 yesterday, their gold reserves were at a certain something, and all of a sudden gold went up. That made their IQD go halfway down, and there you go, GCR time. Just saying.
Well, I think I've covered my questions. I'd love to know about the Admiral treaty signing, because I've always heard that we can't go until he signs that treaty. So,
well, let's remember that right now, today, starts Operation Northern Thunder. In the treaty was all militaries working together. Okay, that started today, so something's up.
And what is the Project North Thunder? I'm sorry, I've never heard that before.
It's all militaries working together. You can Google it, Northern Thunder.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you answering. I hope that helped everybody on the call.
You guys still there?
I am.
Special caller, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just wondering. I thought I had lost you guys. I was just making sure I was still here.
No, heck no. I had muted myself, and I was telling the lady in Van Nuys to go ahead and ask another question because I wanted to start calling her 404, but I don't think she's in 404.
Right.
Ma'am, if you'll raise your hand again, you're welcome to ask another question because I put your hand down for you. Anyway, well, I'll wait on her. Michigan, web caller, Peter, come on down.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
We can hear you.
I want to say thank you guys for your call. It's a lot better than TNT. Of course, Ray's doing better as far as I'm concerned than Tony ever did. But I wanted to let
hold on.
Okay.
Tony provided a great service to us. And I must say this, some unfortunate things happened to him. I'm not going to bash anybody and please, please work with me here. And Ray is taken over and he's had a lot put on his shoulders and a lot to bear.
With no notice.
With no notice. And he's doing a pretty good job. So, this, and as I've said before, on everybody on this call, you make the call for me, and I'm just a flavor of the month, and it can be over just as soon as everybody here decides that they're no longer interested in me. And I hope that nobody would disparage me after I'm gone. So, anyway, go ahead, Michigan.
Well, I'm sorry I missed the beginning of the call, but I would like people to know about PEMF therapy. I don't know if many people know about it yet because it's not big in America yet, but it's just like almost a miracle. So if people would research it, they would see.
It's called PEMF?
Yep, it's pulse electric magnetic therapy. It's
okay.
PEMF.
What does it, let me say, without going real long into it, what does it treat?
It treats all kinds of aches and pains, arthritis, cancer. It's an electromagnetic pulse that charges your cells and makes your blood cells accept oxygen and oxygenates your body and shrink swelling. It's just incredible.
Well, heck, I need that. Do you have a question for us, sir?
Nope, I just want to keep thanking you guys and keep up the good work, and I won't bother you anymore. I just got to share this because I just learned about it because I've been sick, and I'm going to start using it.
Thank you that was a nice little tidbit there. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hands down. Mute.
Thank you, sir. And you say I'm a scoundrel? I'm sorry. I was replying to a text somebody sent me. Van Nuys, California.
Okay, I'm 404? That's a compliment.
No, I said I wanted to start calling you 404 with all the good questions.
No, I totally know what you're talking about. That's why I'm saying if you're calling me a 404, then that's a compliment. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
I do want to say, like I said, I have been in this since June of 2011. I have researched every single bit of this on every single level. I have been familiar with the galactic side of this 4 years ago. Many people are starting to understand about that. I understand about the new Republic coming forth, and I love what Joseph has been saying over the last, several days that he's been posting and saying things, because I really want to, and I got something from one of my, I've introduced this to probably over 150 people, and I keep updating them and keep them aware of what's going on, because I know that this is really that revaluation of your own inner self and your spiritual essence And once you understand who you are as a spiritual being coming into this and revaluing that part of you, so whatever we have left in terms of hours, days, hopefully not weeks, really start really looking within yourself and understanding what part of you are you not healing, what part of you are you still resisting, what part of you are you still in your ego, and what part of you do you need to release that. Because honestly, once you have this wealth, it's going to just amplify everything that you have ever had to deal with in your life. And so those issues that you've been holding on to, any fears, any lacks, any limitation are going to be magnified 1,000-fold if you don't move into love and peace and trust and abundance. So please, everyone listening to this call and on the recording, really start doing a self-life review of everything in your life that you need to release and forgive. Because if you can do that, if you can step into what we call a ho'oponopono, which is 4 statements: I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you. If you can start moving into that space of absolute forgiveness of every aspect of yourself, you're going to start reflecting back to you and mirroring back to you the most amazing, wonderful, love-based people. And all the fear-based energy that has been promoted and propagandized on these websites for a long time now, all of that stuff will really fall away when you stand in your truth, that you can absolutely trust the divine, God, Jesus, whatever you want to call it, in your own way, universe. I'm not making this just about one religion or one spiritual belief system. This is about us all moving into this new place of love. And that is such an important thing. So really look at what money you're going to have, what money you're going to basically keep as your principal. And as Aiko had mentioned, live off your interest. Somebody even mentioned to me, get a line of credit based on what you actually are going to put in the bank, and use the line of credit and then ask for 3% on the line of credit as interest and 3% minimum on your deposited principal, and that way it's a wash. So you're having access to that money, and you can keep your principal in the bank making money for you, hopefully more than 3% if we're lucky. So I just want to put that out there. And for everyone who stands up and is asking for the highest rate, you deserve the highest rates, because you're not just asking for yourself, you're asking for any passion project that you have, whether it's the Wounded Warriors, whether it's children, elderly, disabled, whoever it is, you're asking for those people who aren't invested in this. So please take that as not being greedy and not wanting too much, but wanting absolutely more than enough to cover yourself and everyone else that you want to support and help. So that's what I just wanted to say, and I wish everyone the best on this, and this is one hell of a journey that I'm so ready to move on from.
Thank you, ma'am, and I just have one thing I'd like to say. I'll see you at 6 o'clock.
What's 6 o'clock?
Never mind. I'm sorry.
Well, Jerry, if you want to call me, you have my number.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, Jerry, something. It's easy to be broke, okay? Just so you guys don't. For any of you guys who don't know, it's easy to be broke.
Well, and I agree with you. I want to make this statement, and that they say that money doesn't bring happiness. All I want is a chance to do a little research and prove it to them that either they're right or wrong. Just give me the opportunity.
One of the things that we need to also take into account is biblically and prophetically, all prophecies in the Bible have come true, and those that haven't we still wait on. But however, those that have been 100% correct. The Bible tells us to bring all of your future into the storehouse and divide it out from there. So that says to take all your funds and bring it into the storehouse and then diversify it and then divide it out from there. So if you've got $100 billion coming to you from a currency exchange, You put it all into work for you, and then you give it, here's this much to your children, and this much to the veterans, and that much to the church, and that much to the rest of your family, and that much to yourself, and that much into the foundation that covers the house and the cars that you live in, so nobody can ever sue you for them, and that much for all the other stuff that you're going to do. You're never going to need. It's almost going to make like money is free. That's the portion that we all look forward to. But also, when you spend your money, a biblical principle behind spending it is asking 7 questions. 7 questions like when you go to spend your money, whether or not you know the questions. Between, like, let's say if you're married and you have family, and you want to do something that's a huge thing, like a $100 million project, biblically it's stated 7-to-1, seven people to review one right answer, when you're talking about huge things. And these are all biblical principles, and this is a paradigm change. Hopefully the paradigm change includes some biblical principles, because some of us are actually knowing that this transfer of wealth comes from only one creator.
Thank you very much, Philip. John, would you like to say anything? I got you open there, Oklahoma City.
Hell, I had to get my phone out and unmute myself. I've gotten in on a portion of the conversation. It's just that from a personal standpoint, I know I'm not the one that's been on here the longest, maybe on this call possibly, but it wasn't very long before the very first currency that we were aware of was made available that I was on board. And it's been a long journey. And yet at the same time, looking back, while there might have been times when, I wished it had happened right then, looking back at the things that have happened, not only, I'll just say this, those things that have happened in me have actually been worth whatever the wait has been, whatever it will be. Talking about projects and things like that, because, quite frankly, you really don't learn to walk by faith and not by sight until you're forced to, because none of us would choose to do that on our own. It's a whole lot easier to look at our bank account and think, I've got enough to pay my electric bill and everything else, and I get a paycheck on Friday, and so I'll be okay. But what if you didn't have a paycheck coming? What if you didn't have enough money in your bank account to pay your electric bill? What if your phone's getting ready to get cut off and your access to the outside world has been pretty much cut off? What then? Well, take that notion and apply the answer that you would give to that question, and take that beyond after this happens in your life, because as Philip just said, the source of all of this is the same one that provided everything for you when you didn't know if you were going to have food on the table that night. You didn't know if you were going to be sleeping on the floor of a restaurant or in a nice soft bed. You didn't know if you were going to be in where it's warm or trying to figure out a way to just get a few winks when it was cold outside, raining, or whatever. Take that same answer that you have to ask yourself, can you walk by faith and not by sight? And even after you've got however much it is that you're going to have, and consider the answer to that question is still the same, regardless of how much you've got in the bank. He's still your source of all your supply. He says in the book of Proverbs, he says, my son, do not forget my teachings, but let your heart keep my commandments. For length of days and years of life and abundant welfare will they bring you. Let not loyalty and faithfulness forsake you, but bind them about your neck, write them on the tablet of your heart, that you might find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and don't rely on your own insight. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He'll make your path straight. And long time ago, I say long time ago, it's been, let's see, my boys are 32 now. We'll say 27 years ago, I had to anchor my life to that passage of Scripture and understand that there are times in your life when it's physically impossible to do what you know God's will is for your life. But yet your heart is still there. That's what he noticed about King David. That's why David was called a man after God's own heart, because every time something was pointed out to him that he had done that went awry of God's plan for his life, he repented. And so, anyway, it's been a wonderful journey, but at the same time, there are brand new chapters that are getting ready to be written in my life that involve someone else, and she's an absolutely beautiful woman. And I'm looking forward to all of that and everything that God has prepared for me beyond this. And just remember the ride. Remember what you used to worry about. And just every day before your feet hit the ground, just say, good morning, Lord. Instead of, good Lord, it's morning. Just keep that attitude anyway. I don't know what else to say. That's just a personal testimony, if nothing else. So.
Well, and I'll thank you very much. I just want to say, from my standpoint, as long as I've been waiting, something that I didn't think I'd ever have: patience. And a new understanding about how to be a little more patient, even though I'd like to say patience my butt, but I have it. Okay, on to our next caller. Jenkins, Oklahoma, 918. Come on down.
Yes, hello.
How you doing?
Fine. Thank you for taking my call. I was interested in everyone there on your end, your respective opinions, plural, if Iraq comes out with a tradable, globally accepted currency by March 3rd in order to enter the World Trade Organization. In your all's respective opinions, does that equate to a global exchange? And if so, why?
Anybody want to take a stab at that? Special caller?
I'll jump on it real quick. Because the global currency or the global financial reset has always been set to go when Iraq was given their second chance when they enter into a global market economy. That is the hope. That doesn't mean it's necessarily what's going to happen. As of right now, the United States looks like it's about to get in trouble. If they don't let this thing go, and China goes and does it with the rest of the world, then the rest of the world is going to want to figure out what is a good sanction against us. So I hope that helps.
Yes, I was just playing devil's advocate, and you answered with the words, that is a hope. Not necessarily going to happen, and here's why I'm playing devil's advocate. They could do that. But as you all know, they can enter the global market in trade. Their currency has revalued in country, and everyone over there, they're hunky-dory. They can trade internationally from bank to bank and pay for goods, import or export, without this exchange happening for a period of time. And I want to applaud the woman from Van Nuys. I'm in total agreement with her. My intel says the same. We'll see this probably in about 2 weeks for us to exchange, and it will happen.
This is your opinion.
This is from my
It's actually a good opinion. It's actually a good opinion, Jerry.
Yeah.
All right. I have to throw that out there from time to time.
Yeah, I understand. And another question I'd heard, I've always understood that the TRNs, Treasury Reserve Notes, I will never see those, as the general public won't. Those are gold-backed, and that is for trade between banks and trade between our countries internationally. I also believe, my intel tells me, when we go in to do our exchange, the money we exchange into, it is gold or asset-backed right then. Will the money that me and you have right now, the U.S. dollars, they will be gold-backed. It will take some time to get those off the street. That will come eventually. Then we will have the USN.
Yeah.
And that will take some time. Now, after all these exchanges take place, they're not just going to pop those out because that would just scare the public. Mainstream media, they will make an announcement. 5 o'clock news, it'll go in one ear and out the other with most people,
Yep.
But the currency, before it gets to the public, we're already asset-backed. Our fiat dollars, they're asset-backed. So I've heard it's going to take 72 hours and this and that. My intel tells me no, because after all this planning and all this time, why would they wait 72 hours? They're either going to do it or they're not. It's either one or the other. Is there any comments on that?
I think everybody's going to be quiet on that one.
You're absolutely correct.
Barry, I can speak up on that.
Hey, Philip, hold on just a second. Go ahead, special caller.
Jerry, first of all, everything that guy said was absolutely exactly what I've been told. The only thing different that I've been told is it will be a 72-hour window after everything happens that'll happen. So I know he's saying he's hearing not 72. Now, that could be true. That could have changed. But everything I've heard as of yesterday was that it would be 72 hours. But everything that he has said is exactly what I'm hearing. Everything.
Okay.
Except for the fact that the fiat dollar is only asset-backed because the United States has a very strong moral support behind what's called the Federal Reserve Note. And the credit from the American citizens is the only reason, and that's only in country, that the Federal Reserve note even feels like it's asset-backed. It's really not.
Correct. I agree with that. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you all for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
What is this? Perrine, Florida? 786. Come on down.
Hi. Hello. How's everyone doing? I'd like to thank you for the wonderful call. I just had a quick little thing I thought was, very, very curious to me. I was talking to my brother about this investment at 12 o'clock this afternoon, okay? He's in North Florida. I went on my phone, and the first thing that showed up was a commercial. I had access to YouTube, and the first thing that showed up was a commercial. And over at TNT, we have hashtag Pay It Forward. This commercial said hashtag Day It Forward. Do something for someone else in the world today. I just thought that as confirmation. Call me crazy. I don't know. You still there?
Yes, sir. I was just multitasking. Let's hope so. It would be wonderful if it was.
Has anyone seen that, or anyone of your guys have seen that commercial? It said hashtag Day It Forward. Today, do something good for someone else in the world. I just thought that, whoa, expecting that, especially what we're expecting in the next, hopefully 5 minutes. But that was the first tidbit. And the second tidbit I had, the Zimbabwe currency. If someone were to go ahead and exchange whatever many Zimbabwe notes that they currently hold and had, let's say, an additional order of not that many, let's say less than 10, come in after their exchange, how would they go about, should we notify the wealth manager at the moment of exchange that, hey, I got something else coming? Am I locking myself in? If I do that, do I hold till I get it all together? Just, I know you're not a lawyer, doctor, but you play one on television.
Yeah, I stayed at a Holiday Inn, but I kind of like to steer away from that. Just even though I've made all the disclaimers, I'm a little uncomfortable trying to answer that one. I apologize about that. Maybe somebody else can, but I want to cut off on that one.
I totally understand. Kind of like 50-50.
Hold on. Go ahead, Philip.
This is a currency exchange. If you have some more that's in the back burner, in the mail, or something you know is on the way and you just haven't received it yet, yeah, your best bet is to let your wealth manager know that you have it coming. However, this is a currency exchange. You're going to still have an opportunity. The window's not going to be open forever, okay? So the one thing that you do need to understand is get in, get out. There's a life after currency exchange. You guys are all going to have an opportunity to do new things. It's not all going to be about, and some of you are going to go out and buy more currencies, and you're going to play the currency game still. And I wish you the best of luck. However, personally, I won't do it. But the bottom line is, and this is a tidbit, you should all write this down. Every month, ask for a screen print of what's exactly in your account. They cannot say, well, $100,000 is missing and we don't know what you're doing with it. As long as you have a screen print from the bank, they still have to honor how much you had at the last time you had it. So that's just a tidbit.
Okay, I do appreciate that. And lastly, if this thing were to go in the next, I don't know, let's say 5 minutes, hopefully, in your heart of hearts, if we were playing poker, what hand are we holding right now?
and I will bow out, and I say thank you, and thank you.
This is
Well,
last.
Jerry, can I answer that?
Sure.
Yeah, we're holding about 18 aces.
18 aces, that's legal in almost every country, but I like it.
Yeah, that's yeah. And everybody else at the table is holding 18 aces. So everybody's winning.
Stare down time. I like that. Let's see them sweat.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, I so appreciate the info. I would like to thank you again from the bottom of my heart to everyone I'm going to help with this. Let's actually pay it forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Jer, I got an offering on interpreting intel.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that most, let me just keep going. Most people are taking the same intel we're all hearing, and depending on how far around the circle you are, you know, the old tell the same story to 10 people in a circle. You tell the first person, the second person, third. By the time it gets back to you, it's a completely different story. I would say that wherever you are in the circle, you're actually taking the same intel and mixing and mashing and coming up with your story about the intel. And you may be quoting somebody that you respect a lot who has their story about the intel, who got it from somebody else, who got it from somebody else. There's very, very, very few people who are actually getting it from the horse's mouth. And so when you hear somebody say something that doesn't match your belief of what's going on, don't panic. Don't get upset. Don't think their story's right and your story is wrong. We're all interpreting a lot of information together at the same time, and we all have our own filters on it. But the thing I want to point out is that for the past 3 months, every week, the information gets more precise, it gets more positive. There are fewer and fewer negative interpretations out there, and I'm going to say for the past 2 weeks, I haven't heard a plausible negative interpretation. I've heard some variants on date and rate, but essentially we're now all hearing the same great stuff. So wherever you are with this in your own belief system and your own tolerance for what this is going to do to your life, we're in really, really, really good shape. So if it happens in the next 5 minutes,
yes, we are.
Yeah, that's great. If it happens in the next 2 days, that's incredible. If it happens in the next 2 weeks, that's still unbelievable. So that's my offering there.
Well,
Jerry,
let us. Yes.
One of the reasons why the intel has gotten tighter and closer and more pointed is because Iraq threw all of their funding, all of their gold reserves into a trade back in, I think it was April. That was a 90-day trade or a 120-day trade. And so that's why for that 120 days, everyone went like totally berserk quiet. Okay, even you know, a lot of intel went belly up. That's because Iraq threw their money into a trade to better benefit their coffers, and the money was just recently the trade has ended, and so that's where we're all pointed out that they have more now. So all right, what are you going to do with all this more? I want to see my more. So just saying.
Thank you, sir. We're going to go on to, oh, heck, I bet Iko's been there. Huntington, New York, 631. Come on down.
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, great. Really enjoy the calls. Thank you very much for your time. I know you're not getting paid, and much appreciated. Two questions I have. One is, I believe it's classified as a private placement. It's the naked shorted stock called CMKX is the trading symbol for CMKM Diamonds. And my question is, what is the vehicle to have the shareholders of the CMKX Trust? What's the vehicle by which they will be paid?
I have no idea. I really don't. I mean, I've heard of the CMKX, but as to answer your question, I can't because I have no knowledge about that.
Okay, I'm wondering if any of the other gentlemen would have any inkling, and if they don't, that's fine.
From what we understand, CMKXers have received 2% of their losses, and that their money is in trade now growing.
Okay, are you saying that they've 2% in hand?
No, but their money is back by court order and judge's decision that they were allotted a 2% value, and that money is up on the trade desk now, and it is earning money appropriately. Will be divided out when it's done.
Okay, and are you familiar, Philip, with the vehicle by which the payment will occur?
I couldn't hear you.
No. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate that. And the second question is, Philip, probably directed to you. You earlier in the call, you made reference to a 17% tax treaty, if I'm characterizing it correctly. And my question is, what is that tax for? Because I know people had made mention of perhaps we're entering a new paradigm, and there may not be federal or state taxes applicable. So I'm curious as to what that 17% is in reference to.
I believe that it's going to be part of the new paradigm. Will be under 17% of all new unnecessary items, like a big yacht or a multi-million-dollar mansion. 17% on regular things that are necessary and non-taxables are still going to be the same, 11%, 14%, and 17%. They do have a breakdown. They do have it decided. From what we understand, it's just being kept under the hood.
Okay. Well, I wasn't familiar with that, so I certainly appreciate it. And that's it, gentlemen. Thank you very much for your time, and looking forward to this finally occurring. And again, all your time and effort is very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Chi-Town, 773.
Come on down. How you doing, Jerry?
Good. How are you doing? Wait a minute.
I'm doing fine.
If you're not drinking Blue Moon, you can't talk.
No, I'm driving, man. I got to be able to talk. Come on, give me a break.
Okay, well, give us your question here, and then we'll be moved. One question. I'm trying to get as many people because I want to wrap this up in about 25 minutes. Okay, my honey's coming home
really quick,
early.
Sir.
Okay, go ahead.
See, I had two things. Explain this third of the month, because if money is not supposed to be moved until the 1st or the 15th, how does the third of the month being part of something that they could actually do it on if it's not set for the 1st or the 15th? And the other thing was about the protest in Iraq. What is the protest for in Iraq?
Don't know, but
That's all I had.
Okay, we're going to answer your first question and go on to the next one. First question.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Okay. I do know that the IMF has rules that in either the 1st or the 15th, they've got either 2 or 3 days either side of that date that they can make adjustments.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 days, so I'm sure I'll get corrected here. So there you go. All right?
Thank you. All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
The reason I want to get this wrapped up at a quarter till is my sweetie's coming home, and I've got to be the good house dad and have things ready for her when she gets here. Washington. Well, looky there. That's Miracle Queen.
How you know it? How you know it?
Miracle Queen, come on down.
How did you know? How did you know?
I have a sense for these things. Come on down.
Hi, how are you, sweetie?
I'm good. You got one question here, sweetie, because I'm trying to get as many people before.
There.
Go ahead. What's
your question?
Oh, my question was, I wanted to know if should RV say today or tomorrow, when will we be able to exchange?
Well, they're saying that once the numbers come out, as soon as you start calling, you're liable to be in the bank, depending on where you're at and how far you got to drive, within a couple hours. You'll be hollering, show me the money. Huh?
Are we going to get 800 numbers?
Yes, but I don't know when.
Okay. Well, go on and have your blue moon and tell Pastor I love him.
I will. He heard you. All right.
Okay.
See you later, Miracle Queen.
Bye-bye.
Home of the Mormons, Provo, Utah. 801. Come on down, sir.
Hey, Jerry. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Hey, sorry, I'm probably going to repeat a little bit, and I just need to explain a little bit. My wife is coming back from a humanitarian project in the island of Kiribati, and I haven't talked to her in 3.5 weeks. She's actually in Fiji today, making her way back, and I missed the 404 lookalike and some of the things that she was asking. So I guess I wanted to just kind of clarify because I had her in one ear and you guys in the other ear. If this goes through today, tomorrow, whenever, in the next day or two, did I understand from special caller it may still take us a couple of weeks before we actually get into exchange?
I don't think he said exactly that.
Well, that's why I'm trying to clarify because I was trying to listen to you guys and trying to talk to her at the same time. So
you shouldn't have been. If you did not need to be listening to our conversation with her on the other line. You bad husband.
Well,
and if
it's good because the humanitarian stuff that we're going to be doing with this money is all a part of what she's been out doing. So I was trying to do both.
Let me answer your question here. If the 800 numbers come out, that means we're going to be able to call in and go in and exchange. How's that?
Okay. So the couple of weeks thing, is that because I heard something about that it might still be another 2 weeks. So I'm trying to understand that part of it.
Somebody said it could go that long, but I don't think so. Because there's a lot of dealings going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, that we'll never know about. So we just have to speculate, and that's what this is, speculation or rumor.
Yep, exactly.
Up to that point. So I hope that answers everything.
Yeah, I didn't think it would, I don't think it's going to take another 2 weeks just based off of everything that I've heard and knowing some other things, but that threw me off a little bit while I was trying to listen to her as well. So I just wanted to clarify, so.
Right.
Thank you so much. And Iko, I just wanted to say something real quick to him. I appreciate, I've followed him through this in the time that I've been involved in this. And I feel bad when things, you can only say what you're told. And then, when people hold you to, the exact timing and nobody knows for sure. And I just appreciate all of you guys and the intel and everything that you bring into this. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And don't forget to email me your address for that $50.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
You got groupies everywhere, don't you, Iko?
I do. It's satisfying my failed rock and roll attempt when I was 19. So
nothing like being Jack Black later on in life.
That's right. That's right.
Here we go. Wichita, Kansas, 316. Come on down. Nope, you muted yourself. Let me unmute you.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. Go ahead. Come on.
Thank you. Take you off speaker. We've heard such good intel, and everything's gotten so small and nitty gritty. With get down and fine tuning everything, and I think it'd be real good to take a different perspective and go up in the air and look down on what's been going on, and realize where'd this money come from? Why are we getting this? And we're actually we're receiving this back from evil that has taken this from humanity, and so we're getting it back to put it back out there again. So I think people need to realize that the best intel I've got is this money is not mine. All this money is God's money. We've chosen to be stewards to go out and distribute this and bless humanity. There's been a tremendous amount of suffering in the world for this money. People have lost their lives. There's been wars fought over it. This is, in a sense, blood money. And I think when we go out and, we need to have a realization of what the value of this money is. There's been a terrible price that's been paid for it. And that, we need to really concern ourselves in being able to put this into places that is going to be a blessing back to humanity, in the name of all of those that suffered and died for it. That's my perspective on it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Well said.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Ladue? Is that Missouri? No. Where are you from? 314. Ladue?
Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay, go ahead. It's your turn.
All right. I think I was going to ask some questions, but the gentleman before the other call asked me. And first of all, thank you all for taking my call, and I appreciate everything that you all are doing and all the intel. It has been great. But I think the gentleman before, the one that just hung up, had asked the same question I was asking about the timing. And I just wanted to, I should put my hand down, but I thank you so much for taking my call.
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's see, how can I put this? Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones. Yeah, I'm talking to you down there with that god-awful eyesore in Arlington, Texas. Come on down. 817.
Yeah, Jerry, it's Steve. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing today? I know.
Good.
I can see you there.
Yeah, listen, I just wanted to kind of clarify something with with special caller and with Philip, is that basically what I got out of it, maybe you can just give me some feedback, that all the starts and stops over the last couple of years, the paradigm change has changed. So if this thing is delayed even up to 2 weeks, it's because, the right people are doing the right things instead of all the people trying to stop it. I guess the bad guys. Is that correct?
Yes and no. I look at it, this is just my personal opinion. I look at it like this. Every day that goes by, and I know this is really going to endear me to everyone, just allows me to be a little more patient, and learn a little bit more. But I'm reaching a point where I'd like to say I'm ready to go on and try something new. But I think that some of the holdups are just the finalization of a few I wouldn't say issues with the PTBs, maybe some with us, the good people. How?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, like, you know, everybody read the stuff about the pings and the World Banks, and 70 of the Rothschild World Banks didn't respond, and then they had the Come to Jesus meeting and basically said, you know they're going to like delete their bloodlines from Earth or something, and that everything was good to go. And I guess what I'm trying to understand is, because obviously, you know, Iraq today, suppose everybody got paid at the old rate, and they're planning on protests on Friday. So that came from the TNT call, and you know, I'm just trying to understand where we're at and if we have a lot of obstacles to overcome in order to get this done.
Don't know. Can't answer that one.
Okay. Well, but from what your understanding is that, you know, this thing has to go by the 3rd because of the WTO situation for the 90-day international currency deal. Is that right?
Let me try to answer it this way. Yes, but I want to give it to you in another analogy. This is my analogy, and it seems to be working so far. It's called the golden rule. He with the gold makes the rules. We have no gold to make any rules. They've been changing a lot of them for a long time, and I'm hoping they can't change that 90-day rule, but again, it's the golden rule.
Right. Okay, well,
okay.
You know, obviously I'm praying and hoping that this is our week, and hopefully, you know, tomorrow's it. But I really do appreciate you doing these calls and getting the folks that you get on these calls. It's very beneficial. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jerry?
Yes, sir.
Just for a timeline perspective to put into the thought process, we were always told that when the admiral goes in and once the wells start, the wells will be given 3 days of silence. Then they will be allowed to do their thing. Don't know if that's already happened or not, because, well, we're not privy to that information.
Who is it that gets 3 days of silence? I missed that.
The whales.
Oh, the whales. Yeah. Well, hey, I'm a whale. I'm just I'm a baby guppy whale. Why can't I go in?
Because you don't have the right John Deere.
Well, okay. I do got a sexy tractor though.
There you go. You don't have the right John Deere. It's not your fault. And then 4 days for them to be completed with their biggest group. There's 7 groups under the Admiral's group, we believe. And then 4 days after, which will put us 3 days for the whales and 1 day for the beginning of the biggest group, would be the sovereigns to start. So, having said that, if this was to go tonight or tomorrow, let's say it starts on the 3rd, they would give them to the 6th, 7th for the sovereigns to begin. So, I'd just like to say, keep an open mind that we are not privy to the author of the plan, but we do know some of the things that they've let go, and that's all I'm trying to say is that there is still a timeline on this, and I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that it's tomorrow, bang, shotgun start, we all run to the bank and go get our appointment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? I was going to take another caller, but I want to go ahead and wrap it up. I just want to thank everybody that all the hosts, all the intel providers for helping me out here. And I sincerely hope that we're not here Wednesday, but this call will still be here, even post-RV, just not as often. Just want to let everybody know that. Iko, you I know you have something to say. There you go. Iko,
Um,
Rockstar.
First of all, the word is often, not often.
Whatever.
You know, just a little joke there, but I got hit with a ruler in the 8th grade for that one. So never forgot it. Yeah, I just want to say, guys. I mean, even what the last caller just said. 3 days for the whales. My understanding is that this thing went down Saturday night. So the whales could have started Saturday night. We heard that Chase was open for business Sunday morning at 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, and maybe that's rumor tell, and maybe it isn't. Maybe that was the whales going in, and maybe it wasn't. But you know, just repeating what I said half an hour ago. We are there. We are good. We are glorious. So let's go be wealthy. Thanks.
Very good. Philip, if we have one Wednesday, I hope you can join us. That way I don't have to carry everything.
Thank you, gentlemen. You guys are awesome. And Iko, I hope you're right. It is not often that we make our mistakes, but often we will try to correct them.
Oh, just
good one.
You know,
good one.
I thank God I've got Kevlar body armor on for the snow treads.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you very much. And let me stop the recording.